Alright, so I just got the newest volume of Game Informer, and this month's special issue features Infamous Second Son. As you can see, just on this, hopefully it's bright enough. It takes place in Seattle. I didn't know that personally because I didn't really look up information on the game, but it takes place in Seattle, and based off what I read, it does take place after. Well, obviously, it's after Infamous 2. But what they did was they looked at what people chose through their first playthrough, and it was the good ending. So it's after Infamous. It's after Cole decided to sacrifice himself and other conduits to let humans survive. But obviously, that didn't exactly happen. Some conduits did survive, and they were classified as bioterrorists. So the main character, this guy right here, they aren't really. I guess. Okay, yeah, that one's way better. Oh, you can't even see it. Well, the main guy, his name is Delson. He has a couple of different powers apparently, but so far it's mostly just been the ones that you've seen in the trailer, and that's the like the teleport smoke ability, and he has like a projectile smoke ability. I'm assuming it's fire because obviously all the red and stuff, and if you saw the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. And I figured it wasn't just you know teleporting and, well, it says smoke, so I guess it's technically not fireballs, but that's what it seemed like to me. But takes place, I believe it said 6 or 8 years after Infamous 2, and there's basically a new group of people called the DUP, and they pretty much quarantine and regulate the interactions between humans and the, well, conduits, who are now the bioterrorists. And so apparently, based on this picture down here, either you can look up a better video to find pictures and stuff, because I couldn't edit it in. It would take me forever and it would come out super choppy because I have like the worst freaking editing software ever. But they have these constructs that are based off of equipment that roadies use for concerts, so they can build it up and take it all down really quickly. I thought that just seemed like a pretty cool idea. And you never know throughout the game, you know I'm assuming they're still going to do the good bad choices, and you could probably have like less constructs. If you're good and people see like, oh, he's a good guy, we don't really need to have all these constructs up because he's not the villain, and he kind of protects these areas or whatever. But if you're the bad guy, you'll see like taller structures and way more structures, and have more of like the, I guess, army personnel coming after you. And I think that would be a pretty cool thing to see because when if you played the first two Infamous games, the the landscape doesn't really change too much over time. I mean, obviously, like small things change, like you see posters and stuff, but nothing like this building blew up or that building didn't blow up. It'll be like it'll anything that explodes or something like that will pretty much be a main story component, or it'll be like a tiny building, maybe. Like I can't really recall anything that blew up that was actually because of me making an evil choice. They're pretty much all just story elements, and they blow up no matter what you do. So I think I could really change around for this one. They could have like like I said, different constructs and stuff. And personally, I think that would be really cool. Um, I like the design for the character. I think he looks pretty cool. I like the whole like denim jacket look, their denim vest. He looks okay. He's got like a pretty cool tattoo on his left arm. You know, don't know much about him. Obviously, it's only been like one trailer so far, unless they've made another one. I haven't really looked, like I said, but I do like his character design. He seems like he might be a pretty cool character. Because based on the trailer, the little bit that they had as far as personality, he wasn't. At least he didn't seem to me like he was just killing people. It seemed like he was the type of guy who was just rebelling against the system because he was classified as a bioterrorist for having superpowers, and he's kind of fighting back to let people know like you can't just treat us like crap just because you don't have powers and we do, and you want to assume will instantly just like kill everybody off. So I think it kind of has that sort of XMen factor type of deal, except I'm sure it'll be a bit more, you know, I don't know, I can't think of the right word, but just a bit more action based and not as dramatic and political. I think it'll pretty much just be you're fighting the people and then making little choices, in between to be good or be evil. And I'm curious to see what other powers they have, and what other powers you unlock by being good or being evil, and if they even do the whole um, color system. You know, since Infamous 2, they did like his clothes and stuff change along with his lightning colors. Like will his clothes change and stuff like that? Will the red turn to blue when he's good? And, will he get like a different hat and more tattoos on him? Even though I guess you wouldn't really see his tattoos because he has like a long sleeve shirt on under the vest. But maybe the vest could change and the shirt under the vest, which is like it looks like a flannel button up or something, and then another vest. I don't know. It must be cold. It's Seattle. I've never been there, but his clothes might change based on what you do, stuff like that. And hopefully they do. I think that would just be a cool dynamic to have since they added it into and all the cool powers. Maybe the colors will stay the same. Maybe they won't. I don't really know. But with this coming out, um, I believe later this year for the PS4 or the early next year, well, to be announced. So it'll probably be like sometime next year for the PS4. I feel like it's a good step for the franchise because after two, if you played the good one or if you played two, I won't really spoil the ending. But for two, I kind of thought they might do something based on how they ended it. They kind of forced you to think that based on how they ended two, if you chose the good ending. But obviously that hasn't happened. And with the time that's passed, it says even with what Cole did. I guess I kind of spoiled it earlier, so sorry. But obviously, if you're watching this, you should have already either you shouldn't care or you should have already played the first two. So you're stupid for watching this. But it says even with what Cole did to sacrifice himself and other conduits, people who weren't in New Marais still consider him to be the demon. Of I can't remember the name of the first city, but they still consider him to be the demon, and so he's basically like one of the, or pretty much the biggest terrorist that's like ever lived in the universe now, or at least on Earth. I don't really know the whole universe in the game, but for Earth, he's like the worst person that's like ever existed because I don't know. I guess people didn't spread the word well enough. I mean, you think people would be like, "Hey, he did this. He stopped the beast and all that stuff," but it just didn't happen, and he's still considered like a very bad person. And I'm assuming that's why conduits are now bioterrorists, because once they saw, once that happened in New Marais, and people die like all over the planet and stuff like that, they probably figured, you know, this is worse than we could have possibly imagined, and that's how they got into the whole dynamic of, being or labeling people who are conduits bioterrorists. But I'm definitely excited for the game. Um, like I said, I've never been to Seattle. If you've been there, it'll probably be like even cooler for you to play the game to see like a future like war zone Seattle type location, I guess. And I'm not sure what this picture shows. It's probably absolutely nothing, like just some random art. But I don't know. That might be some sort of scientists. They're trying to figure out how to cure conduits and stuff. Basically starting over because very few people knew about what happened and how to cure or how to get powers. So they might just have like zero information now. They could be starting all over. But who knows? Like the corporation that like enlisted um, Cole in the first and second game, like the people who were looking for him, That corporation's probably gone now, and I would assume they are because they knew about conduits and they knew the good that people could do as conduits. So I don't know, based on what I've seen and read in the book, I think that corporation's pretty much gone out the window. Or maybe they're the corporation. Maybe they've turned into this new corporation to fight conduits. They probably felt they were wrong or something like that. I don't know. But I'm definitely excited for the game. I can't wait to get more trailers and see new powers and other characters because I'm curious to see if he has like a companion character. That would be pretty cool. It says it's single player, so if he does have a partner, it might be another human character. He might not have a partner character. He could even be in like a group, like a rebel faction, which I think would be sweet if they like, kind of did make it multiplayer, and you could have like partners join your game as those characters and stuff like that. Like you might not be able to do it in single player. You'd have to play as um, Delson or whatever I said his name was. But in co-op, you can have people join you and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. Just to, multiplayer Infamous game. I think that'll be amazing. So, let me know what you think about Second Son. Do you like the name, character, all that stuff? I think it's a cool name for some reason, like Infamous Second Son. It just sounds pretty sweet to me. I like the sort of orange graffiti look that they do, which they did for the cover of Game Informer. That was nice. And the whole aspect of it, like I said, like this little smoke jump thing, I think that looks pretty cool. It's a lot like the sort of like the ice boost in 2, but that just in this gray picture, that looks cooler than the ice one to me. And we might get some of the cool teleporting powers like we saw in 2 that like every other person got to have, but Cold never got. So we might get to be the one who like teleports super quick, stuff like that. So what do you think of the game? What do you think of the other Infamous games? Odds are, if you're watching this, you liked them. But favorite parts, least favorite parts. Have you read the comics? Because there's there's a comic between 1 and 2 that pretty much leads up to 2. It's like right after the end of the first game, and it leads up to 2, and it follows the good Cole. So he's not like just decimating people left and right. But it follows through and it kind of leads up to 2. I only have the first one because I have the special edition of 2, or the hero edition. So I haven't read all of them. I just read the first one. But if you read those, let me know what you thought about that. And like I said, what do you think of the game? What do you hope for the game? Powers, co-op. If they had co-op, what would your ideas be? Stuff like that. If you live in Seattle, tell me what you think most about this. Is this even accurate? Are there trains anywhere near that? I don't know. Also, there's graffiti of the image on the back of his jacket right under these trains, so he might be in a little faction, I guess, or he just graffitis the stuff himself. I don't know, but there is an image, or yeah, well, image. I can't think of the actual word, but there's an image of the sign that's on the back of his jacket, so he might be in a faction. But comment, rate, subscribe if you like, and thanks for watching.